Hey everyone, it's Nicole Spohr here today with my 10 cards featuring the September 2019 Spellbinders Card Kit of the Month. I have created some cards that feature lots and lots of die cutting, and then I've created cards with lots of pre-mades from the kit. I am a huge fan of mixing and matching the components. You're getting 10 card bases and 10 envelopes in the kit. And I always like to share 10 cards I've created with the kit, but you get so much stuff you can obviously create many more. I am going to do a sped up version of unboxing the kit. There's the cards and envelopes. There is a fantastic stamp set this month that is a sentiment stamp set where you can mix and match the scripty sentiment with a more type kind of font. There's exclusive dies in every kit. This one builds the cutest little letterboard. The first card I'm going to share with you today, in fact, is going to be a letterboard where I created a custom sentiment. You're getting all of the alphabet so you can die cut whatever letters you need to build your own sentiment. And then fantastic flowers and leaves, which I always am a huge fan of those, plus an idea sheet in the kit. I'll be using those flowers and leaves in other Spellbinders projects as well. I always love their 6x6 paper pad. There are 2 of each pattern that you see here, so lots of great pattern paper. I will be using lots of those. That floral I just shared with you with the kind of black background with the white florals and some foiling and green leaves, my favorite. I love that paper. In fact, that's what I'm going to use on the first card that I'm sharing with you. Some awesome enamel dots, some chipboard stickers. I only took one sheet out, but there's actually a sheet on the back too, and that has some stickers I'm going to be using for one of my cards. There's always lots and lots of fantastic cardstock, a foil cardstock, and then as always, the pre-made die cut shapes. Love these. I always find lots of uses for them in my card making, and they make quick and easy cards so simple. You're getting 2 of each shape. I'm going to lay them out so you can kind of see everything that you're getting. I am using a fraction of them, and many of the cards are using multiples. Oh, sorry about that wild ride there with the video camera. Sorry, guys. Phrases, leaves, images. Oh, that bicycle I'm going to use. I think I pretty much used all the florals in the kit. Some dogs, these great big foiled hellos, foiled stars, so many amazing pre-made die cut shapes. I do want to mention there is going to be some repetition in my cards this month, and that's a couple of reasons. One, getting my video, it's a little bit later this month than I would have liked due to September at Simon Says Stamp. And 2, I accidentally deleted my footage of the first several cards I made. So the cards that have repetition in them, I went ahead and remade those. So there's going to be duplicates of those. And I think that's also a lovely point to make. Because we're getting 2 of each, if you are not using both die cuts on a card, for example, I'm going to be using the window and the moon and the stars, you can definitely create multiple cards. No sense in reinventing the wheel. Go ahead and just recreate those and you have 2 for 1, and it's really quick and easy. For a couple of other cards, I took some past Spellbinders Club Kit dies, actually a fall-themed die kit from last year, I believe the end of last year, about in 2018, a fall-themed kit, and we're going to die cut some acorns. I really thought the cardstock colors in the kit worked well for that, so we'll get to that here in a little bit. Now, a lot of this card actually is footage that got deleted, so I do apologize for that. I did not want to put it all back together because part of it hadn't been assembled yet, but I simply cut 2 of the long borders for the frame and 2 of the short, and then multiples of the inside of the letterboard. And then you're just going to put it together. I did back my letterboard with foam adhesive. I'm using my favorite pattern paper from this month's pattern paper pad for the background, that beautiful floral. All the cardstock is from the kit. The dies, all are those exclusive dies, and you can see this is making a really nice substantial letterboard. Don't want a rectangle letterboard? You can use that smaller piece, cut 4 of those and piece them together, and you can create a square that's going to be much smaller. So do keep in mind that there's a couple of options there. You can use any sentiment you want. I really love having Thinking of You cards on hand. And so a few of my cards today kind of have that theme to them. I've die cut the flowers and leaves and things all from the foil cardstock or cardstock included in the kit. We're just going to assemble those. A little tip about the letters for the letterboard. I have used other kinds of die cut letterboards in the past, and I have found this tip works really well. You can see I'm holding the letters with some tweezers, and I am using some quickie glue to draw the glue on the back of those letters and then place the letter on the letterboard with my tweezers and just kind of move and put them in place. I have found this method works great. I don't have glue squishing out and making a mess all over the letterboard, and the tweezers help me put those letters right where I want them to go. It can be a little tricky, and I have found that this process, that quickie glue and the tweezers, really make this so much easier. So we'll just finish this last word. This sentiment is "You are in my thoughts," and it's got a floral grouping below and a floral grouping above. Because there is less room up above on my letterboard, I did just a small or 1 flower grouping. Down below, I did a trio of flowers and then the gold foil coming out from each side and some little leaves and things. And just a really fun way to create custom letterboards. Now there is a die in this that has 4 little, it looks like 4-letter eyes. It's not. That little piece you die cut and then you place it on the seams of your letterboard, and it just gives it a really finished look. I went ahead and die cut mine from gold foil cardstock and glued them to the corners, but you could do that from the same color of cardstock or whatever, and you're going to see me attach those right here. So I'm just going to draw a little bit of glue, and I actually had a little bit of a glue mess. Maybe I should have used the quickie glue. Just going to kind of fix that. But these little corners just give a really nice finished look to our letterboard. So now that we have done the letterboard, probably the most time-consuming card, just simply for all the die cutting and then the assembly of all those little letters. That does take a little bit of time. We are going to create one of my favorites from the kit, and that is this really clean and simple moon scene card. It uses navy cardstock from the kit, a pattern paper trimmed to fit behind the window pre-made die cut. Then we're going to stamp one of the phrases from the stamp set included in the kit underneath the window with a clear embossing ink, heat emboss with white embossing powder, and then we'll finish the sentiment by stamping it on a scrap of navy cardstock with clear embossing ink and heat embossing with white embossing powder. And that's going to go on the bottom of the photo frame. And this is for both backgrounds. I have also pulled the window pre-made die, the moon pre-made die, that's the moon and the stars circle, and a bunch of the gold individual star die cuts. This ends up being a really, like I said, a clean and simple card, but so pretty. And I created 2 different sentiments. So for the first one, with the footage that actually got deleted, it says, "You are so amazing." For this one, I am stamping Thinking of You. And both of these work equally as well. I love that you can kind of mix and match those sentiments from the stamp set included in the kit to create some really fun cards. So after I've stamped this, I use the powder tool to help keep the embossing powder only on the stamped and embossed area. I'm going to take my trimmed down pattern paper, place that right above the sentiment, and then we want to take our window and our dies, or die cuts. So I want to put the moon first. I'm going to use the window as a guide. And then we're just going to glue stars all over inside. Have lots of these gold stars here. I use these on both of my cards. So this is one that's a duplicate, and I still have lots left over. So we get lots and lots of gold stars in this September kit. Now, once I have all my stars, I'm going to take the window frame and I'm going to back this with foam adhesive. That's just to lift it up a little bit, pop it off of our background. It really gives that illusion of looking through a window to the night sky. And that's definitely what I'm going for. So I'm just going to take these foam adhesive strips and back the whole thing. That's going to include the outer frame and then the inner frame. You don't want the inner frame to kind of buckle when you put it in the envelope. And it's wide enough that these thin foam adhesive strips are going to fit really well back behind the dividers. So I really recommend putting foam adhesive behind the whole thing if you're lifting it up with foam adhesive, because it lies a lot nicer. We'll just piece all of that together. And then peel off our backing paper and pop that onto our card. Foam adhesive is such a fantastic way to just elevate your cards very quickly and easily. That gives that little bit of dimension, and it just is, like I said, it's easy. If you're looking for an easy way to elevate pre-made die cut product, this is it. So now I have a little scrap of navy cardstock actually left over from when I trimmed down the background to fit my card base. So I'm just going to take that and stamp the phrase Thinking Of on that. And I actually stamped the wrong phrase first, so kind of ignore that. I don't know what I was thinking. I think it might have been left over from the other card. So I want to stamp Thinking Of on my navy cardstock strip, heat emboss with white embossing powder, trim that down, and then pop it right there on the bottom edge of my card. And then this whole panel is going to go on one of those white card bases. And look how pretty that looks. So much fun. Next, I have another card design. So you can see in the upper left corner of the screen, I've got this wood grain paper at the top, green at the bottom. I used green cardstock on the first one. I'm going to use green pattern paper on this one, dividing it with some of the gold foil cardstock in the kit, and then I'm creating a collage along that border. Well, the first card with the home and the flowers, that is footage that got deleted again. So I wanted to create something similar. I'm a big fan of creating a lot of similar cards, but different. So we're just going to grab different greetings, where the home card is Home is Where You Are, which is beautiful, and all the florals look so awesome with that. This is going to be You Are in My Thoughts. It's going to have flowers and leaves and a branch and a bicycle, and then the phrase You Are is a pre-made die cut that's foiled. You can kind of see it there on the screen. But the In My Thoughts is actually from the stamp set. So we're combining a pre-made foiled sentiment with a stamped sentiment to create a custom greeting for a card. Now everything centers around this bicycle. So just like the home card, we're building everything along this border. So starting with the bicycle, we'll tuck branches and flowers and things around it to kind of help build our little collage. I love collages. It uses lots of stuff from components from the kit. We've got 6 die cuts, I think. yes, on this card. The home card had even more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10. Yep, 10. So you can see that you can really get your mileage out of the die cuts included in these kits. So we'll just add the phrase "you are" with some foam adhesive. That helps pop it up a little bit. And then we're going to stamp, as I mentioned, the phrase "in my thoughts" on a green cardstock strip. The green cardstock is included in the September kit. We're going to stamp that with clear embossing ink. And then to tie it all together, instead of white embossing powder, we're going to use gold embossing powder because that matches the foiled cardstock, that matches the foiling on the die cuts, it matches the foiling in the pattern paper. It just really all flows together so nicely by using the gold embossing powder. Then we're going to pop that up with foam adhesive. Since we popped up "you are," I really felt like the "in my thoughts" needed to be popped up as well. Trim off anything hanging off the edge of the card. Some of the leaves, the tips of the leaves needed trimmed off. And there is our next card design all finished. So we are up to 5 cards finished. Next, we are going to create a couple of super quick floral cards. I really was in the mode of making backgrounds that were 4 by 5 1/4 this month. So this one is a wood grain background, and I am combining tons of gold foil accents. We've got doilies, we've got the gold hello, we've got gold leaves, we've got a couple of cream or tan and gold foiled flowers, and all of this together just makes for a very elegant, pretty card. So the 2 doilies, I used 2 of those, but you see it looks like there's 3. Well, that little edge is actually the part that was trimmed off one of these. So I saved that little piece to place along the left side of the card. Then I kind of want to play around with everything and make sure that I can figure out how I all want it to go before I commit to gluing it down. Once I have the doilies down, I'm going to pop up my flowers with foam adhesive and kind of layer these 2 down here on the bottom. We're going to place some gold foil leaves around those. We're going to use 3 of those. I think there's 4 in the kit. I'm going to use 3. And then we're going to pop out the insides of the letters, the loops in the letters of the word hello, and glue that down. For my next floral background, I've trimmed down a text pattern paper. It's kind of a grungy text, which I love. And I like it with these flowers a lot. They're like watercolor looking flowers. That's been trimmed to 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to just group them together. So a group on the top, a group on the bottom, and in between we're going to stamp "Celebrate this day," or not stamp, adhere the pre-made phrase "Celebrate this day." I love these little strips that have been in the kits lately. I think they're really usable, and I love how it divides the top from the bottom, but yet just adds a really cute touch and a nice little pop that naturally divides all of the florals, so it isn't just a giant cluster. It really kind of gives the top and the bottom their own space. We have just a few cards left. So 2 different styles, but 3 cards. We're up to 7 cards with this one. This is going to be the 7th right here. And I actually tore this. So I was super glad that there were 2 in the kit because I was able to go to my little baggie, pull that out, and finish my card. So this is where I'm implementing a past club kit die. This is a fall collection die set from last year. It's still available, and I die cut the acorn, and I've also trimmed down my plaid pattern paper from this year's kit, and I'm placing it in the background. Our acorn components have been die cut from cardstock in the September 2019 kit. We're going to layer those together, adhere those kind of to the center of our plaid background, and then all these little florals are from the exclusive die set in the kit. So we've got white flowers, gold little branches, green leaves, green flower centers. And we're going to embellish and adorn our kind of top right corner of the acorn with these florals. So pretty and really masculine feeling, I think. The florals kind of give it a little bit more of a feminine flair, but if you want to leave those off, I think the colors and the style is a little bit more masculine even. And then I want to round it out. I felt like it needed just a little something else, and there is the So Wonderful little pre-made phrase in the pre-mades in the kit. I'm going to add that right below the acorn on both cards. Now, the reason this one has two again, I really wanted to show using older product with a newer kit, something you might already have on hand and you want to find new ways to use. And this was one of those cards that the footage got deleted, so I went ahead and made another one because it ended up being one of my favorites from this set, or from this kit. And finally, we probably have the quickest card from this month. Quick 4 by 5 1/4 pink stripe background. I've adhered that to my final white card base, and then I am going to take some of the chipboard stickers from the kit, and I'm using them as a guide because I'm taking the stamp set from the kit and laying out the phrase, "Sending happy thoughts." And I need to use those chipboard stickers so I know exactly where I want to put my phrase. I am going to place this in my MISTI, pick up all the stamps at once, stamp that with a black ink, and then we are going to pop some fun little embellishments above. And I grouped mine. You might notice I do this a lot. I like to group like items together. So for me, that's going to be an envelope, postage stamps, the calligraphy pen, and a paper clip. These are all chipboard stickers from the chipboard kit. I will tell you, I don't think the adhesive is fantastic on the back of these. And especially, I touched them. I'm sure my skin had oil on it. They lost all the sticky by the time I was done. So I just want to make sure they're not going anywhere. I glued mine in place or used foam adhesive to hold them in place. So the postage stamps and the paper clip, I glued those. The envelope, I want to pop up a little bit because they're chipboard stickers. They're not going to lie over each other very nicely. So the foam adhesive helps make this look a lot nicer. I'm going to pop that up. We're also going to pop up the part of the calligraphy pen that overlaps, or that doesn't overlap, pardon me. We're going to pop that up with foam adhesive as well and kind of finish it almost like, if I tipped it the other way, almost like that I wrote with calligraphy, but I love that little grouping there, and done. So that is the final card. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this set of 10 cards featuring the Spellbinders September 2019 card kit of the month. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Spellbinders club kits that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a card making or paper crafting video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll catch you next time.